Okay, I have to be honest with you right out of the gate.
Oh.
I almost threw this source material in the trash when I read the headline.
Mm.
I mean, we look at a lot of health trends here, but this one triggered my skepticism alarm so hard I think it broke the knob.
That is a strong reaction. Was it the 2026 in the title? Or the claims?
It was the orange peel trick.
Well,
I'm sorry, but my immediate mental image is me just gnawing on a bitter, waxy rind.
it's a squirrel.
Exactly like a squirrel who ran out of nuts. It sounds absolutely miserable. And honestly, it sounds like the kind of internet advice that gives you a stomachache, not a six-pack.
It's funny you say that because if you actually look at the fine print of the research they provided, they agree with you.
They do.
Yeah, they explicitly state that just eating raw orange peels is a terrible idea for your digestion.
Thank you. Finally, some sanity. So we're not telling people to start dumpster diving behind a juice bar.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But, and this is why we're doing this deep dive, the premise is that by discarding the peel, we are throwing away a metabolic goldmine. Today we are looking at Citrus Burn 2026. It's a supplement that claims to extract the, let's call it the metabolic signaling power of the peel, but without the indigestion.
Metabolic signaling. Fancy phrase. So our mission today is to cut through the marketing fluff. I want to know if this is actual science or just, expensive lemonade. We've got the ingredient papers, the customer logs, the manufacturing specs. Let's see if the logic holds up.
I'm ready. We're stripping it down to the mechanics. What does the text actually say is happening in the body?
All right, let's start with the star of the show, the orange peel. The text specifies Seville orange peel. Why Seville? Is that just to sound, exotic?
Not entirely. Seville oranges are chemically distinct from the sweet oranges you buy at the grocery store. They're incredibly bitter.
Right.
And that bitterness comes from a high concentration of specific bioactive compounds. The heavy hitter here, according to the documentation, is p-synephrine.
P-synephrine. Sounds like something I'd use to clean a carburetor.
It does sound industrial, doesn't it? But if you've ever had real high-quality marmalade and tasted that sharp, almost aggressive tang,
Oh, yeah.
that's the p-synephrine. The source material claims this compound is the key to thermogenesis.
Thermogenesis. Okay, I know this one. Creating heat. But here's my issue. Coffee causes thermogenesis. Jumping jacks cause thermogenesis. Being nervous on a first date causes thermogenesis. Why do we need a special orange for that? Why not just drink a triple espresso?
That is the million-dollar question. And the source material actually draws a very, very hard line here.
Okay.
It comes down to where the signal hits you. When you drink that triple espresso, you're stimulating your central nervous system. You're pounding on the front door of your brain.
Right.
That's why you get the jitters, the anxiety, the heart palpitation.
Oh, well, I know that feeling. Vibrating through walls.
Exactly. P-synephrine works differently. The literature explains that it has a high binding affinity for beta-3 adrenergic receptors.
Whoa. Okay, you're going to have to translate beta-3 adrenergic receptors for those of us who didn't major in biochemistry.
Fair enough. Think of them as like doorbells that are specifically located on fat cells and in brown adipose tissue.
Okay, doorbells on fat cells. Got it.
P-synephrine rings that doorbell to signal lipolysis, the breakdown of fat.
Yeah.
But it has very low affinity for the receptors in the brain and heart. So theoretically, you get the metabolic signal to burn fuel without the neurological panic attack.
So it's a sniper rifle instead of a shotgun.
That is a perfect analogy. The text calls it metabolic signaling rather than stimulation. It's telling the body, hey, release some heat, without screaming at the brain to, fight a tiger.
Okay, I can buy the logic of the binding receptors. That makes sense. But here is where I get skeptical again. The text says this formula is bioavailable.
Mm-hmm.
That's another buzzword. If I just ate the peel, wouldn't I get the same stuff?
You would, but you'd also get a massive dose of tough cellulose fiber and essential oils that are essentially irritants. Your gut would be so busy fighting the irritation that you wouldn't absorb much of the good stuff.
Ah, I see.
The extract form mentioned in the Citrus Burn documents is about isolating that p-synephrine so it passes into the bloodstream efficiently.
All right, so we have the trigger, the Seville orange, but I'm looking at the ingredient list, and it's not a solo act. There are 7 ingredients here, and honestly, some of them look like a salad dressing gone wrong.
It does look like a culinary list, doesn't it? But if you look closely, the formulation isn't random. It's actually designed in opposing pairs.
Opposing pairs? What do you mean?
Well, look at the next ingredient, Andalusian red pepper extract.
Okay, so we're adding hot peppers to the mix.
Right. This contains capsaicin. We know capsaicin increases body temperature and improves circulation. It's a pro-metabolic heater. But If you just take orange peel extract and hot pepper extract, what is your stomach going to do?
It's going to rebel. That sounds like Heartburn City.
Exactly. That is a high-heat, aggressive combination. So, look at the next two ingredients: Spanish red apple vinegar and Himalayan mountain ginger.
Ah, I see the ginger.
Ginger is the classic anti-nausea root. It's the fire extinguisher for the fire starter. The text explicitly mentions it's included for digestive comfort.
Right.
It allows them to keep the potency of the pepper and the orange without, wrecking your gut.
That's actually pretty clever chemistry.
Yeah.
And the vinegar. I know people take shots of apple cider vinegar, but I always thought that was just a fad.
It is trendy, but the mechanism is solid. Acetic acid, the main component in vinegar, helps blunt the blood sugar spike after you eat. The text links this to appetite balance. If your blood sugar doesn't spike and crash, you don't get that ravenous, I need a cookie right now, feeling 2 hours after lunch.
So the orange and pepper hit the gas, and the vinegar and ginger grease the gears so the engine doesn't blow up.
Precisely. It's about balance.
Okay, but we still have 3 more ingredients: ceremonial green tea, berberine HCl, and Korean red ginseng. These feel like they belong in a different supplement entirely.
You could view them that way, but think of them as the systemic support. Let's look at berberine. This is huge in the longevity community right now.
I see berberine everywhere. People call it nature's Ozempic, which I feel is a dangerous exaggeration.
It is an exaggeration, yes, but the mechanism described in the citrus burn text focuses on something called AMPK activation.
AMPK.
Think of AMPK as a master switch for energy. When it's activated, your cells switch from storage mode to burn mode. It helps the body utilize glucose efficiently so it doesn't get stored as fat.
So it's basically telling the body, use this energy now, don't save it for later.
Correct. And then you have the Korean red ginseng. This is an adaptogen.
Adaptogen usually means helps with stress.
Yes, but in the context of weight loss, that is crucial. High stress means high cortisol. And high cortisol specifically tells your body to hang on to abdominal fat. By including an adaptogen, the formula is trying to lower that stress baseline so the body feels safe enough to let go of the weight.
That's a connection I think a lot of people miss. You can't burn fat if your body thinks it's in a war zone.
Exactly.
So putting this all together, we have a very specific cocktail here. Who is this actually for? Because if I'm a 22-year-old bodybuilder, this doesn't sound like it's for me. I'd probably just want the caffeine.
You nailed it. The source material is extremely specific about the demographic: men and women over 35.
Why that cutoff?
Yep.
What happens at 35 besides my knees starting to click?
The documents refer to a concept called thermogenic resistance, or metabolic hibernation.
Metabolic hibernation. That sounds depressing.
It is a bit. But biologically, as we age, our mitochondrial function, the little power plants in our cells, starts to drift. We become less efficient at producing heat and more efficient at storing fuel. The text argues that this specific combination, the beta-3 activation from the orange, the capsaicin heat, the glucose control from berberine, is designed to jumpstart that specific sluggishness. It's not for a 20-year-old whose metabolism is already warring. It's for the engine that's starting to sputter.
That makes so much sense. It explains why the diet that worked when you were 25 stops working when you're 45.
Yeah.
The engine has changed.
Exactly. And that brings us to the real-world application. We have the theory, but does it actually work for actual humans? The text provides a few case studies.
Yeah, I read through these. We have Tasha, Neil, and Elizabeth. And I have to say, usually these testimonials are all about, I lost 50 pounds in a week. But these felt different.
How so?
Well, take Tasha M., 41, from Austin. She mentions her jeans fitting better, sure, but her main point was about calm, steady progress. She specifically said, no jitters, no weird feelings.
That validates the p-synephrine claim we discussed, right? She's getting the metabolic lift without the central nervous system freak out.
And then there's Neil. He's 57. His story really hit home for me because he talked about the 3 p.m. slump, where you're just staring at your computer screen and your brain shuts off.
The classic post-lunch crash.
Right. Neil said that stopped. He also mentioned it killed his late-night eating habit.
And that's the blood sugar stability coming into play. If you aren't crashing in the afternoon, your body isn't screaming for a sugar fix at 9 p.m. Neil's experience suggests the vinegar and berberine are doing their job.
And then Elizabeth, who is 62, she talked about brain fog. She went from waking up bloated and foggy to moving with purpose within 30 minutes. That phrase stuck with me. moving with purpose.
It's powerful. It suggests that for this demographic, it's not just about vanity metrics like waist size. It's about cognitive clarity and energy availability. If your metabolism is working, your brain works better too. They're connected.
So let's talk logistics. If someone is listening to this and thinking, okay, my metabolism is definitely hibernating, how do they use this? Is it a complex protocol?
Surprisingly simple. 2 capsules a day with water. They recommend morning or early afternoon.
Avoiding the evening.
Yes. Even though it's non-stimulant in the caffeine sense, it is still promoting energy production. You don't want to spin up your metabolic engine right before you try to sleep.
Makes sense.
Ah.
Now, I want to address the elephant in the room, the offer. We see a lot of supplements with bold claims, but this one has a guarantee that, frankly, sounds suspicious to me.
The 180-day guarantee?
Yeah, 6 months. And the text says, even if the bottles are empty. That just screams breakage model to me. You know, where they bank on you forgetting to return it, or they make the return process so impossible that you just give up. Is this legit?
I had the same thought. It's a common tactic. But looking at the terms provided in the source text, there are no hidden restocking fees mentioned. It seems to be a genuine empty bottle policy.
Why would they do that?
Yeah.
It seems like financial suicide.
It's likely a strategy to overcome the skepticism of that older demographic. If you've been burned by 5 different diet pills in the past, you aren't going to try a 6th one unless the risk is basically 0.
Right.
By offering 6 months, they are basically saying we will take all the risk. It signals extreme confidence in the formula.
Or extreme confidence that I'll lose the receipt. But okay, let's assume it's good faith. They also bundle this with some bonuses. Usually these are just throwaway PDFs. Are these worth reading?
Actually, yes. They tie back into the holistic approach. There's a Spanish rapid detox protocol, which is a 15-day Mediterranean cleanse.
Sticking to the theme with the Spanish angle.
Consistent branding, for sure. But the second one is more interesting to me. Mind over Metabolism Mastery.
Oh, the mindset guide.
It sounds fluffy, but it addresses the psychological side of weight loss. It includes visualization and craving reset techniques.
That connects back to Neil's story about the late-night snacking.
Exactly. You can fix the chemistry with a pill, but if you don't fix the habit, the weight comes back. By including a guide on emotional eating, they are acknowledging that this isn't just a biological problem, it's a behavioral one too.
That is a fair point. It's rare to see a pill manufacturer admit that you might need to actually think differently to see results.
It elevates the offer from a magic bullet to a more comprehensive program.
So let's zoom out. We've unpacked the orange peel trick, we've scrutinized the p-synephrine binding, the fire and ice ingredient pairings, and the target audience. What is the big takeaway for you?
For me, the fascination is in the specificity. Citrus Burn 2026 isn't trying to be everything to everyone. It identifies a specific biological failure, point age-related metabolic slowdown, and uses a very specific part of nature to address it. It's not synthetic, it's extraction.
It is ironic, isn't it?
Yeah.
We spent the last 50 years trying to synthesize weight loss in a lab. We created chemicals that gave people heart attacks and anxiety disorders. And it turns out the answer might have been hiding in the compost bin the whole time.
It really forces you to rethink the definition of food waste.
Right. Makes you wonder what else we are throwing away that's actually better for us than the part we're eating.
That is a rabbit hole for another day.
Indeed. Well, there you have it. The orange peel trick unpacked. If you're over 35 and feeling that metabolic hibernation, maybe it's time to look at what the Seville orange has to offer. Just please don't eat the wax.
Stick to the capsules.
Sound advice. Thanks for listening to this deep dive. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and we'll catch you on the next one.